The 6 worst changes Reacher made from the books. Each season of Prime's Reacher follows a specific book. Season 1 was based on Killing Floor, the first novel, Season 2 was based on Bad Luck and Trouble the 11th, and Season 3 excavated its gold from Persuader the 7th. Author Lee Child has written 29 books so far, with a 30th on the way, so the show can go on as long as The Simpsons or The Bold and the Beautiful if Prime's executives wish. Image menu Netflix. Netflix. Image menu Prime. Prime Video. The Max logo. Max. Disney Plus. Disney Plus. Apple TV Plus logo. Apple TV Plus. Hulu logo. Hulu. Peacock logo. Peacock. Paramount Plus logo. Paramount Plus. The 6 worst changes Reacher made from the books. 4. By Philip Etemesi. 6 days ago. Follow. Like. Thread. 1. Link copied to clipboard. Alan Ritchson as Reacher. Prime Video. Each season of Prime's Reacher follows a specific book. Season 1 was based on Killing Floor, the first novel, Season 2 was based on Bad Luck and Trouble the 11th, and Season 3 excavated its gold from Persuader the 7th. Author Lee Child has written 29 books so far, with a 30th on the way, so the show can go on as long as The Simpsons or The Bold and the Beautiful if Prime's executives wish. About. Remove ads. 03180045. W780. JPG. Right now. Reacher. TV Ma. Crime. Drama. Action. Thriller. 5th September 2010. Release date. February 3rd, 2022. Network. Prime Video. Showrunner. Nick Santora. Directors. Omar Mata, Carol Banker, Julian Holmes, Lynn Oding, MJ. Bassett, Norberto Barba, Steven Surgic, Thomas Vincent. Writers. Kate Duffy. Cast. See all. And star 53481425.jpg. Alan Ritchson. Jack Reacher. In star 533477799. JPG. Marie Sten. Francis Neagley. Powered by. SAR logo. Expand. Lee Child might not mention it, but he's probably slept well since the show premiered in 2022. That's because it's mostly faithful to his literature. No author wants to see their work butchered by movie and television writers, so Child must be pleased. Even so, there is rarely an adaptation that's 100% faithful to the source material. The action series has a few tweaks, most of which improve the story. However, creative liberties have resulted in egregious failings on a few other occasions. Here are the 6 worst changes the show has made to the source material so far. Beck has a wife named Elizabeth in Persuader. Interestingly, she doesn't appear in Season 3. It's revealed that she died a while back, so the tycoon has been raising Richard by himself. That's a shame because Jack Reacher and Elizabeth are very close in the book. In it, a tender bond forms as the two opposites, one earthy and simple, the other daring and brutal, realize they bring out surprisingly profound emotions in each other. Elizabeth would have raised the stakes. In the book, Elizabeth feeds Reacher with plenty of information about Beck's business relationship with Quinn. This helps him do his job much better. On the show, Richard is given Elizabeth's arcs, but the young man always seems like a liability rather than an ally. He is merely a vulnerable person who needs protection. Besides that, Elizabeth is constantly subjected to harsh treatment from Polly on the pages, causing Reacher's hatred for the henchmen to surge. Their eventual showdown thus feels more personal. High romance between Elizabeth and Reacher is hinted at in the book. Cursory details, like Liz and Beck rarely talking, reveal that the marriage is more an alliance of bank balances than hearts, hence the perfect opportunity for Reacher to step in and fill the emotional void. Such chemistry would have benefited the show, since the Reacher-Duffy pairing left fans dissatisfied. The most interesting aspect of Reacher lore is the jarring conversational contrast between the book and TV versions of the character. Jack Reacher is quite the talker in the Prime Video series. This isn't the case in the books, where he mostly taps into his inner voice. Reacher said nothing is a recurring phrase on the pages, reminding viewers that the former military investigator is a man of actions, not words. When Amazon Prime's Reacher stormed onto screens, fans of Lee Child's long-running series were thrilled to see a more faithful adaptation than Tom Cruise's earlier film attempts. Towering, stoic, and intimidating, Alan Richardson's Reacher embodied the character's physicality and quiet confidence in ways readers had long imagined. Yet even with its fidelity to many details, the show made changes, some subtle, some glaring, that didn't sit well with book purists. Here are 6 of the most frustrating alterations that Reacher made from the novels. 1. Reacher's personality softened. Book Reacher is famously a man of few words, few attachments, and fewer vulnerabilities. He's nomadic and solitary by nature, relationships are fleeting, entanglements rare. Yet in Amazon's adaptation, the character is noticeably softened. His banter is more frequent, his smile easier, and his alliances more trusting than Lee Child's text would ever suggest. For example, in Killing Floor, the book that Season 1 adapts, Reacher's bond with Roscoe is brief and understated, but the series gives them a warmer, more emotionally intimate arc. While this arguably makes Reacher more TV-friendly and relatable, purists argue it undermines what makes him iconic, a man who drifts, detaches, and disappears. 2. Roscoe's expanded role and altered fate. In Killing Floor, Roscoe is a competent and likable police officer, but her relationship with Reacher remains distant once the mystery concludes. She's important in the context of the case, but never central to Reacher's larger story. The show expands her role considerably, turning her into a key player in Reacher's investigation and giving their romance more screen time and emotional weight. Most notably, the series hints at a longer-lasting connection, even implying Roscoe may stay in Reacher's thoughts as he continues his travels, something virtually unheard of in the books, where women from one novel are rarely mentioned in the next. Fans of the nomadic, unattached Reacher felt this change dulled the edges of his lone wolf persona. 3. Finley's character shift. Oscar Finley, the Harvard-educated detective in Killing Floor, is portrayed in the books as stiff, analytical, and slightly pompous. His bookish demeanor and methodical approach offer an interesting foil to Reacher's instinct-driven pragmatism. The series softens Finley, making him more bumbling and comedic. While Malcolm Goodwin delivers a charming and endearing performance, book fans felt the adaptation stripped Finley of his gravitas. The result? A character who feels less like a competent investigator and more like comic relief, diminishing one of the more interesting intellectual sparring partners Reacher encounters. 4. The villains made less menacing. The Reacher series' antagonists in Season 1, the Kleiner family and their counterfeit operation, follow the broad strokes of the novel but lose much of their menace in the process. In Killing Floor, the conspiracy is labyrinthine, sprawling across international borders with terrifying implications. The novel's villains are cruel, calculating, and remorseless, particularly Kleiner Sr. and his enforcer, KJ. The series trims back the scale of the operation, downplaying the global reach and cutting some of the more brutal sequences that cemented just how far-reaching and dangerous the conspiracy truly was. By narrowing the scope and reducing the visceral threat, the show's villains end up feeling more like standard-issue crime bosses than the shadowy masterminds of the novel. 5. The reduced focus on Reacher's military past. Reacher's backstory as a military police officer in the U.S. Army is not just flavor text in the novels, it's a cornerstone of his character. His investigative prowess, understanding of human nature, and combat experience are all deeply tied to years spent enforcing military law in high-stakes situations. While the show occasionally references Reacher's military past, it largely treats it as background dressing rather than a core part of who he is. Key flashbacks or anecdotes that deepen his expertise are glossed over, giving casual viewers little insight into why this drifter is so exceptionally skilled. For book fans, this omission felt like a missed opportunity to enrich the character's depth and establish his legendary reputation. 6. The neat resolution. Lee Child's novels rarely end tittily. Reacher solves the problem, yes, but the fallout is,